Hello, everyone, and welcome to On Purpose. My name is Donald Roy, and I'm so excited for this podcast. I'm so excited for this journey that we have started together. Now, to just give you a bit of context for On Purpose, I decided to start this journey so that we can inspire young people. We can inspire even the older generation that has not been able to get in touch with what God has deposited in their spirits. And my guest today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited about this one because my guest is a friend, a colleague, an acquaintance, someone I've known for a while, but I'm so excited to share with you their journey today. Now, my guest, to give you a brief background, my guest studied accounting for 4 years, graduated, of course, with the honors degree, went on to pursue chartered accounting, but she left that halfway through to pursue what she really thought is what God has deposited in her. So I'm excited to chat to her to get to know what happened. How did someone go for 4 years only to leave that and pursue something else? My guest on the show today, ladies and gentlemen, Cheryl Musumha. Drum roll, please.
Yay!
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, how are you doing? Donald?
Thank you so much for coming on to the show. We're so excited to have you today.
I'm excited to be here.
So tell us, let's just get right into it.
Yes.
You go 4 years.
Yes.
Pursuing a career that you thought was, for a lot of people, if you just say accounting, I know right now for a lot of young men and women that are in high school, if you mention accounting, you're talking about something they would want to pursue.
Yes.
So maybe let's backpedal a bit. What inspired you to even go for accounting in the first place?
Yeah. So accounting was more of a dream.
Right.
So I grew up with one of my cousins who was working for one of the big four accounting firms.
Right.
So this was me in my primary education. And I see this person, they dress well, they have all the good stuff and good things. And I'm thinking, this might be a good career path for me. So fast forward, I then pursue accounting.
Right.
Maybe backpedal a bit before I get to that. I went on to high school, was one of those bright students.
Right.
Went into a sciences class, but I actually wanted to change. Everyone is fighting to be in the best class, the best class. And I'm like, no, I want to go to the commercials class because I'm looking at that life and I'm thinking,
I have to go accounting.
I have
to do accounting.
So, for prestigious reasons, I stayed in that class, the sciences class. Of course, there was accounting. Did accounting, went on to convince my parents to say, you know what, I'm going to do accounting A-level.
Right.
Did accounting, passed, went on to university, did the 4 years, went to attachment to an accounting firm, one of the big four, just like as I had hoped.
Right.
So I get there, I'm excited. The job is amazing, but there's overtime.
Oh my goodness, all right.
So I have a passion for music, but now I don't have the time.
Right.
I'm always at work. But the dream was still vivid and there, so I'm pushing. All
right.
Until I just soldiered on.
Right.
So to say. Finished my degree, went on to do articles, and then when I'm there, I'm like...
You're like, nope.
This is not working.
This is not it.
This is definitely not working for me. So, yeah.
Let's backpedal a bit. Yeah. Let's talk about... what, besides, of course, seeing somebody else live a life that you feel maybe this is the life.
Yeah.
What other things? Is there any other advice you're getting maybe from parents, from siblings, from family about what career path to choose? Did you ever get anything of that sort?
Well, I was raised by supportive parents. So whatever I put my mind to do, they are for it.
Right.
So because of how much I would talk about being an accountant, being a chartered accountant, it became a reality,
right.
And my parents thought that was what I wanted. So they then went on to push me even more.
Because they thought
this is what my daughter wants. So let me push her. But then now I realize I don't want to do this. And it's now difficult to then come back and say, you know what, guys,
That was not it.
That's not it.
I think that's a very powerful, teachable moment, because a lot of our young people, ourselves included,
Yes.
what we really thought was purpose were the things we're looking at from the aspect of the good life it often
Yes,
gives
yes.
you. And as you grow up, you begin to realize that sometimes purpose is not really about the good life.
Yes.
Sometimes, purpose takes you through places that are even dry, some places that are not financially exciting.
True,
And
true.
so at the end of the day, from your experience, of course, I know that you eventually left accounting
Yes.
and pursued something that you thought is really what, and we're going to get into that.
Yes.
But can you speak to our young people? If you were to help somebody today,
Yes.
to tell them what the purpose is about,
Yes.
what's your take on that? How do you define purpose? How do you define something as what God has created someone for?
So for me, I would say that purpose is something that you find easy
Right.
to do. So let's say, for example, you grew up being someone who loved helping people. You grew up being someone who, who just wanted to, maybe you were people oriented. That is a sign
Right.
that whatever you're going to pursue is in line with working with people.
Right.
So you might get to a point where maybe you've been blessed with intellectual the ability,
Right.
and then you drown in that, you get lost in that, you getting flying colors, and then you think maybe the people oriented jobs are for those people maybe who are not
Who are down.
Yes,
as we call it.
exactly. Yes. Well, that's what most people
Yeah.
say about people who end up like in
Yeah.
working with people.
Yeah.
So you can end up really not getting to harness
Right.
that gift that God has already put in you.
That is so
Yeah.
that is so powerful, because I think even for a lot of our parents, what parents think as being in a wholesome person
Yeah.
is that ability to go to school, get 10 straight A's, and they're like,
Yeah.
we are just a doctor, and there's always
Yeah.
that pressure that if someone is intelligent enough to go through school and pass, then they
Yes.
have to be an engineer or a pilot. Or what if I just want to be a social worker?
Yeah.
Or what if I just want to be a podcaster like me? And I think it's about time that our society begins to redefine what we call purpose, what we
Yes.
even call intelligence.
Yes.
So that at the end of the day, people do not end up in jobs they do not want simply because
Yeah.
they got an A in accounts, so they should go to accounting. Anyway, so let's now get into what you are doing now.
Yes.
Take us through. So you left accounting for what? This is exciting. Trust me, this is exciting. Talk to us about it.
Just like you mentioned, that when you're so good in school, it's difficult to then change.
Right.
Especially to what I changed to do. For some people, it does not make sense to this day.
Right.
Why is this person wasting away their,
Yeah.
their knowledge? So I did accounting, finished, went on to do articles, was doing my the board 1 examination.
Wow.
And I was actually doing well. It's difficult, really difficult.
But you were killing it even.
And it's also expensive.
Right.
So we have the money factor coming in. My parents are sponsoring, and we're looking at about $900 per term.
Okay. All right.
Without putting in the material,
All right.
the learning material.
All right.
So now you want to tell them that, you know what, I
I'm
don't
leaving
want to
this.
do this.
Oh my goodness.
And this is like a year and a half into this.
Oh my goodness. This is exciting.
So I went into a mental breakdown that really, because it was a war in my mind.
All right.
How do I deliver the message? You know,
My
it's
parents.
hard
Of course it is.
when your parents are financing your school and then you tell them midway, I don't want to do this. You're thinking about what they've gone through,
Yeah.
the sacrifices they've made.
That's right.
And you're thinking, is what I want to do
Good enough.
Yes,
to
good
convince
enough.
them.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right.
Because you need to have, the supporting evidence to say, okay, so what's the plan? So initially, when I decided to leave, I wasn't sure
Right.
yet.
Oh my goodness, this is exciting.
So because I wasn't sure yet, I didn't know what to tell them.
All right.
I only knew I can't do this anymore.
All right.
Because I was going through the most. I was having migraine headaches, tension headaches all at once. I'm having suicidal thoughts.
Oh my goodness.
It was really, really bad. I was crushing.
Right.
And at the time, my parents were now even, feeling say it for me. Like, you don't want to see your daughter in that state
And
where they are just
and they
walking
don't
dead.
even know what you're going through.
Yes.
Even all they can see is like the exterior experiences.
Yes, but I don't have the courage yet to tell them, you know what, this is what's killing me.
Right.
So when I eventually managed to tell them, I took time
Right.
to really sit down. I remember I was nervous in my room and I'm thinking, should I go?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, when I get there, what do I
This
say?
is like on the day. Now you've decided I'm
Yes,
going to tell them.
yes,
You're
I'm
still
go-
having these mental breakdown about how do I break the news.
Yes, and I knew that in our household, whenever you say you're going to do something or you're stopping doing something, you have a plan B. You don't just come without a plan B.
Right.
But now I don't have a plan B.
Oh my
I
goodness.
just know I don't want to do this.
Right.
So I get there, I tell them, I don't want to do this. But at that time, I think God was also in it because I had also took time to pray about it and say,
Right.
you know what, God, I don't know what I'm going to say or how I'm going to say it, but please let them have a listening ear for me. So I get there. They say it's okay.
Right.
We are actually concerned about your health. It's deteriorating and it's not good to see. So they accepted and said, you know what, take time, find yourself. So I went into a time where I gave myself time. And I remember when I told them I was quitting, I then started therapy.
Right.
And I was fortunate to come across Friendship Bench.
Okay.
So Friendship Bench Zimbabwe does online on WhatsApp their therapy
sessions, right.
So you can choose if you want to do text, if you want to do a call. But the good thing is the person doesn't know you. So you can actually open up.
Yeah.
So when I was opening up, that's when I discovered my purpose. And I discovered that what was happening in my life at that time was as a result of some undealt issues from my childhood.
Oh my goodness.
I never got to give myself the time to discover me. So I'm a firstborn.
All right.
So, you have that pressure. You want to show the younger ones that this is the right way. And you also have the pressure to just please your parents at the expense of actually looking and saying, what do I want to do?
Right.
So I never got to that stage where I would give myself time to know me.
Right.
So in therapy, I then started getting to know myself. What is it that I like? And I saw that I love talking to people. I love helping people.
Right.
I love seeing people become better, inspiring people, and that led me to then do what I now do now.
And let's talk about that. I think I'm so glad because this is you've talked about a lot of very critical and important issues because a lot of our young people. I keep saying young people because I'm passionate about young people. But I know, of course, this applies to a lot of people, even those that are mature.
Yes.
We go through silent struggles that we never get to open up about. Because there's so much expectation on us. There's expectation for you to become something.
Yes.
And in most of our African society, it's usually to do with financial success.
Yes.
I think our definition of success is, do you have a car? Can you sponsor everything you want to do? You're successful.
Yes.
And so because that's our definition of success, it gives a lot of people pressure to become something they're not, just to prove they're successful.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you touched on that. I want us to eventually come back to how you dealt with this mental, depression process you went through. Of course, you talked about therapy, but before that,
yes,
how do you handle those moments of not being sure about yourself, not sure about how it's going to go? Because I say this because I don't think it's everyone who can afford therapy.
Yes.
From the get-go. And it's not something that has been talked about enough. And so a lot of people are not sure about, can I do this? Can I really go and talk to a stranger about it?
And there's a stigma about it.
There's a stigma about it. But the truth is people are going through these things. So what are some of the things you learned that helped you to sort of keep going, even though you are in depression, even though you are facing things that you don't know how to deal with?
So in life, there are things that you can control and things that you cannot control. And the things that you can control is you.
Right.
You can't control the reaction of the next person. You can't control how the society will view you.
That's right.
Because people will always have theories of who you are.
That's right.
So if you are going to heal in that time of depression, you need to come to a realization that the only thing that I can control is what I can work on. So you need to come down to
Right.
working on you.
On you.
And now, in the process of working on you, the very first thing that you need to know is it's okay that you're not okay.
Right. That's so powerful.
You know, most of us, especially the male,
Yeah.
yes, you are told to be strong.
Exactly.
You're the strong.
And don't show your weakness.
Yes, you don't show vulnerability. Yet sometimes you need to allow yourself to feel the way you're feeling.
Right.
In that place of feeling, that's when you actually find your healing.
Wow.
Because healing starts inward, then outward.
That is so powerful.
And depression, there is that depression where you are actually active and acting like everything is okay.
When you're not.
When you're not okay. It's like a coping mechanism.
Wow.
But it's because, you know what, the outward is what people examine and see.
Exactly.
And you want to make sure that that exterior is good and no one is seeing that you're going through a rough time. So it's a personal process that you work on individually and you allow yourself to feel. After allowing yourself to feel, you need to then affirm yourself and tell yourself that where you are is not where you will remain.
Whew, that is so powerful. You know, as you're speaking it, there's an angle that also just came to me.
Yeah.
That's not even related to career. I'm thinking about relationships.
Yes.
Whether it's in the marriage or family wise.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the times we are so much under pressure to be good enough for other people that we forget ourselves.
Yes.
You know, we end up going so much out of our way to become this person that is admired, accepted, and loved by our loved ones and those around us.
Yes.
So much that we even forget who we are.
And we lose ourselves.
Then we lose ourselves.
Yes.
And eventually you burn out. And so when you burn out, that's when people just end up walking out of relationships or just shutting down on relationships. Because for the longest time, you've been trying to conform yourself to who you are not, so that you are accepted in a particular space. And I think it's so important that you brought back the discussion to you. Who are you? Make an effort to understand who you are. What are the things that inspire you, the things that move you, what kind of environment inspires you and brings the best out of who you are. That is so powerful. Let's talk about, so what is it that you are doing now?
Okay.
That is so. I was waiting for that because when someone quits accounting, I'm sure even the listeners are like dying to know. So she left accounting for what? Is she now a pilot? I think that's an exciting discussion too. Let's get into that.
Yeah. So I left accounting, and went on to work on myself. Yes.
All right.
So in working on myself, I then decided to then reaffirm my foundation in Christ.
All right.
So I'm doing theological studies.
That is powerful.
Yes, at Charis Bible College. And it's been quite liberating to be there. I've learned a lot about myself.
Right.
I've found myself. I've found my confidence. Self-esteem is something that is not easy to have.
That's very true.
You have so many insecurities because of our past, because of our decisions, because there's just so much,
That's right. That's right.
So I've gotten to get to that place where I am comfortable in me and I love me. Right. And I understand that before I can love anyone else, I need to love me.
You have to be able to love you.
So if I love me, I can be able to love the next person. I can be able to forgive the next person. I can be able to embrace the next person no matter how different they are from me.
Right.
It's no longer about me.
Right.
So I'm doing that, and I'm also doing my music, which I am so passionate about.
Of course, I know a lot of people that will probably interact with this for the first time would probably recognize you from your music.
Yes.
We're going to get into that in a minute. I still need to grill you a little bit about theology. So do you get into this to eventually get into ministry, or this is just for you? Let's get into that.
Okay. This question
Hard question. Yes, guys.
So my conviction to actually start the studies was a call into ministry.
All right. Powerful.
Yes.
Powerful.
But little did I know that it was more to do with my healing process. You don't want a damaged or insecure pastor leading you.
That's right.
So I got into it by a call. And it's it's been amazing.
Wow, that
It's been
is
amazing.
I think that is so powerful in so many ways, because growing up we never used to identify or to know female ministers of the gospel.
Yes.
You know, women used to just be the sidekick to the pastor.
Yeah.
You know, like the one that makes the pastor look cool because she looks pretty, and you know.
Yeah.
But to get a young woman who says, God has called me and I'm gonna pursue this, is something new. What I want to ask is there any, let me use the big words, is there any stigma or any sort of negative response that you got from anyone at all about pursuing ministry? I mean, of course, I know your parents sound very supportive.
Yes, they are.
What's their response when you say, yeah, I'm going for theology, yay? Like, what's your response, and everybody else around you?
Well, like you said, my parents are supportive. Whatever I set my mind to do, they're like, go for it. You know, we have your back. There weren't any issues family-wise. And also, I've always been a good girl at home.
Right.
So it's something that wasn't a shocker.
They're like, what?
They're like, well,
eventually
she was going to end up there. But for those that I had, you know, in the accounting practice.
Of course, they've seen the giddy side. They've seen the, you know.
Yes. And also they've seen, you know, it's not like I left accounting because the job, I could not do the job. I was very good at the job.
Yeah.
Yes. So people are like, okay, you're leaving. So the first thing is they think I'm leaving because I'm going to pursue maybe ARCA.
Yeah, like a higher thing, you know.
You know.
Right.
Yet I'm leaving, and I'm saying, no, I'm leaving for full-time ministry and full-time music. And they're like, okay. And you're looking at the paycheck, you know. I think when you mentioned the issue about how success is measured by your financial status, you know, there is a stigma around that. And ministry is not like impromptu.
Yeah, you
get into it
and then there's a paycheck.
Yes,
even.
you're loaded, you have money, and there's also a stigma to think that maybe someone you know, a pastor, so that
They can
money,
get,
you know, or munanita pastor because they don't have anything else they are good at, and you know, so for someone who has switched like that, there's a stigma that's there.
Yeah.
But well,
and but also, just even to come back to the issue of financial success, I think the problem is even our understanding of financial success itself is faulty.
Yes.
Because a lot of the people that we see that have got sound sound and you know, sound financial success, they did not become millionaires overnight.
Yes.
Of course, we talk about the famous Zimbabwean millionaire Mr. Strive Masiwa. If you go and read his book about how he eventually started Econet, it comes after several years of being in and out of court and using his savings to even just fight the case of why he's starting that company.
Yeah.
You go to the famous Facebook, for example. Facebook, for the first 7 years of Facebook, they did not make a single sale. They did not make a single dollar from Facebook.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, even financial success itself, it's a process. But it's just that I think when we look at things, we're looking at, if I do accounting, my first job, I'm probably going to be earning $1,000.
Yes.
That's good money. And to us, you're like, that's. But really, when you think about it, real financial success doesn't come overnight.
Yes.
It comes, but again, our definition of success really has to change. We're looking at all those facets of life. How's your mental health, even though that thing is giving you money? How are your relationships, even though that thing is giving you money? For me, one of the things I've had to do earlier on when I finished school, I come from a family where my older siblings have gone into corporate. And I had the opportunity where I could work for one of these big companies because my brother worked there. And so my brother kind of helped people around us, like family, some of my siblings, nephews, and nieces, to get a job in that space. I was just like, I never pursued that. And so my family, for a long time, could not get why I can't, you know, just get a job. Like, it's
like
so easy
else,
for you to get a job. But I was looking at it. My brother at the time, I was actually still staying with him at the time. And he would start work in the morning around 7, and he would finish work at 12 midnight. And he's home around 1 a.m. I was just like, this is not the life that I want. I want a life where I'm able to come back home and spend time with my family, spend time with my loved ones. I've always wanted to be in a space where I'm able to interact with those that I love, the people that I consider dear to me. And so for me, success has never really been about the money. Yes, you need the money to get by. You need the money to buy this and that.
Yes.
But for me, success has never been about how much money can I get out of this. It has always been how much joy can I derive from this. And so a lot of the things I end up doing is I've always thought, how much joy can I get from this? And so you get on so many engagements and there's no money. Like, that's okay. I'm going to come. Like, but we're not going to pay you. Like, yeah, I'm still going to come. And what eventually happens is God is faithful eventually.
Yes.
Even where you do not even ask to be given payment or money, eventually God starts to reward you in those places.
Yes.
We can go on and on, Cheryl, but I want us to, touch on one last thing, and then of course we wrap it up. I was saving the best for the last. Ladies and gentlemen, the best for the last. Now I want us to talk about, obviously, for a young, eligible woman of God like you.
Yes.
The question, at some point, it always has to come. How is your relational life going as you're going through all this? There's this stigma around successful young women.
Yes.
And young men are intimidated, scared even, to even try. So my question is, how has your relational life been as you're going through this entire process of being this good accountant is the word I was going to use, but I realized it's a Christian platform. When you're being good at what you do and you go on to accumulate this level of success, is there anyone on the side, or you are pure, waiting on God, trusting the Lord for the right time? Is there someone in this period?
Wow.
That's a hard question, ladies and gentlemen. I'm winning today. I'm winning.
Wow. So, actually, when you were talking about intimidation, there is even more intimidation when it comes to approaching a lady pastor.
That's right.
There's a stereotype which I don't know. This is how we handle relationships and the like. And, a funny example is someone can come at an angle of maybe using the name of the Lord that the Lord told them. Yeah,
because you're like, how else do you charm a pastor? You're like, how do I charm a pastor? I have to be able to speak in tongues. I have to be able to show that I hear from God.
Yes, and show it that, what, this ministry of yours, we are in it together. I will be there for you. And that also is a disadvantage too, because it means that I have to take more time in making a decision, because I need to really see, are the intentions true? Yeah,
are the intentions right?
Because someone might just come in and then 3 months down the line, you can't pretend forever.
That's right.
They're like,
this is not
me.
I can't.
This is not me. So I think I'm in that space where, I'm still.
You're still. There's still a lot.
Still a lot to really consider, so that I can be able to say, you know what, this is it.
So now let me ask you. There's and this is not specifically for you. Okay. I'm just saying, if you were to speak for young female ministers in general, what advice would you then give to young men out there, like when they come to you? What are some of the maybe don'ts or do's that you would say, look, if you're approaching a young minister, do this and don't do that, a young female minister?
Okay. So I think the very first important thing that people should know is, before I'm a minister, I'm a person.
That's right.
So if you're going to come and approach me as if you are asking out a minister, that's just one facet of
your life,
of my life. Come with the intention of getting to know me. Outside of that,
right?
That is a bonus. That's like the icing.
Yeah.
But get to know me.
That's right.
So the don't really is don't
come like
come
you're coming to a minister.
To a
You're
minister. Come to
just
Cheryl.
Come to Cheryl. Yeah.
Yes, and get to know
That's
me
so powerful.
and allow me to be me around you, because I'm not in the church serving.
That's right.
24/7. So you run the risk of getting disappointed when you wake up and you're like,
but I thought you're.
You know,
Because there's always an impossible
I am a
standard.
person.
Yeah.
I also have flaws. I also have my strength. I also have things that you should come in to help me.
That's right.
You know, as the man, you are coming to lead.
Yeah.
So I should feel your leading.
That's right.
You know what? Give me my space as I minister.
Yeah.
But after that,
But
I
should
am
feel your
submitting
leadership.
to
Yeah.
you.
I
Yes.
should feel the
So I should
leadership.
feel that there is a man.
That is so powerful, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, when we look at these giftings and the offices that people receive from God, we then begin to think that, you know, it's all about the office. And yet we are still children of God at the end of the day. If you're in the prophetic office, for example, if you're a pastor and I'm not, that doesn't mean that you are higher than me. It just
Yes.
simply means that you operate in a different office that maybe than I have, you know.
Yes.
And so I think it's important for everyone out there to even also go back to the drawing board and you know, don't be scared. Let me say this to young men.
Yes.
I'm so fortunate because, well, I eventually had to go through all my struggles and I eventually get married. But don't be scared to approach someone on the basis that they're a pastor or they're an accountant. Because I know that I know for a fact when I was a young man, there was a list of girls that I said I would never ask out regardless of how I feel about them. You know, for me, that list was there. I was like, I will never ask out a pilot. I will never ask out a doctor. I had my own reservations. But of course now, especially from this conversation, there's a lot that I've actually learned, and I'm so excited for my fellow unmarried young bachelors. I have names in mind, but I'm not going to mention you. But let's draw so much value from this conversation. Cheryl, thank you so much for coming onto the platform and sharing your story. It's so beautiful to get to know that, you know, you can live what you consider financially a financially stable thing, to pursue what you really love and what God really has deposited in you. Can I just get maybe a parting shot from you? I've just been firing questions. Maybe you want to say something that's out of the script.
Okay. Okay, I would just want to encourage each and every person who's going to see this that, you know what, take time to know yourself and know your worth before you get into anything that you will do in life. First, feel enough as a person before you then do other things, and surely everything will be fine. It will go well.
That's right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us this far in the podcast. My name is Donald, and I've just been talking to Cheryl Musumha. We are so excited about what God is doing in your life and in our lives. Thank you so much for watching this. Please do consider subscribing. I say consider because I don't know. If you found this video to be valuable to you, then please consider subscribing so that as we bring on more guests, you can continue to learn. But this is it for now. Thank you so much. May God bless you.